Okay, so this is a review of everything we've talked about for domain and range. And what I need you to do is, as you are watching this video, you should be working on the questions. So there's going to be lots of questions for you to try and then input your answers on Edpuzzle. But you need to do both. You need to turn this paper in with the work completed, and you need to answer the questions online. And you need to be doing it on your own Chromebook, not sharing with somebody else. Otherwise, they're the ones who get the credit, and it shows that you will have a 0. So we're going to get started here, and it says, what type of graph is this? So if I look at this graph here, all of my points are disconnected, so that means this graph is discrete. And then when it says, what is the domain? Domain is all of the x values. And so my x values here, first I should probably plot the points. This is 1, 5, and then I have 2, 9, and then 3, 13, and 4, 17. And the domain is all of the x values. So I list them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And my range is all of the y values. So that's 5, 9, 13, 17. And we list them. All right, moving on to number 2. Okay, this is also a discrete graph, and so that means you list your domain and range. So we're first going to look at the domain. If I plot all these points here, I have 0, and then it goes over here to 1. There's a point there at 1, and a point at 2. And 1 at 3, 1 at 4, 1 at 5, and 1 at 6. Now I want to look at my range, all of my y values. So my y values start down here at 0. Then we're going up, so that's 30. These are going up by 20, so the half mark is 10. So 30, and then I have 60, and 90, and 120, 150, and 180. Okay. Number 3, this graph is continuous because all of the points are connected. So I should be boxing this one in because it has endpoints. So if you don't have a highlighter, grab a highlighter and box it in. And then we're going to look at the domain. Okay, the domain starts here at 0 and goes all the way over to 40. So from 0 to 40, and I put x in the center. And I'm using less than or equal to because there's no open circles. And now I want to look at the range. Range is your y. It starts down here at 0 and goes all the way up to 320. So from 0 to 320. Okay. Number 4, what type of graph? Again, these are all connected, so this is a continuous graph. Now let's look at the domain. since it's continuous, I should box it in. And it has endpoints. So there are some continuous graphs we'll look at that do not have endpoints, so you can't box those in. My domain starts here at 0, and it goes all the way over to 20. 0 to 20. And I put X in the center, and again, closed circles, so less than or equal to. And then we want to look at the range. Range is my Y values. So that starts down here at 0 all the way up to 200. Okay, number 5. Again, I have a continuous graph and it has endpoints, so I'm going to box it in. And we're going to look at the domain first. Domain is all of your X values, so I start here at 0, and I'm looking where my highlighter starts and stops, and it starts here at 0 and stops at 6. And it's less than or equal to again because there's no open circles. Now let's look at the range. My range goes from 0 all the way up to where my highlighter ends, which is 12. And we always want to put them in order from smallest to largest. All right, number 6. Again, another continuous graph. Box it in. And let's look at the domain. Now this time my domain, I'm not really on my x-axis, but I could kind of be here. If I come down here, it starts at 0 and my highlighter ends over here at 10. So it's from 0 to 10. And again, closed circles. In the range, we're on the y-axis here, so we start at 200. Actually, we're not quite at 200. This one says 193. That's what that point is. So it starts at 193 and goes all the way up to 250. This is where these order pairs come in handy. It's telling you what the start and stop points are. So my y values start at 193 and go to 250, and my x values start at 0 and go to 10, which is what we have here. All right, number 7. So again, a continuous graph, we can box it in. Okay, my domain goes from 0 to 50. Close circles. My range goes from 0 all the way up to 350. Number 8, continuous graph with endpoints, so we're going to box it in. This one, though, does have an open circle. So I'm going to look at my domain, and I'm going from -2, because I'm following the x-axis, all the way over to +4. From -2 to +4. And I have my x, and at -2, the circle is closed, and at +4, the circle is open. And then we're going to look at the range. The range is your y-axis, so we're going to follow it from the bottom to the top, so at -3 all the way up to +3. We put y in the center, and then down here at -3 we have a closed circle, and up here at +3 we have an open circle. Okay, number 9. Similar to number 8. Again, we're going to box it in. Alright, these numbers are a little bit harder to see, but they're going by ones. So let's talk about the domain. We're going from our x-axis, which is right here at -9, all the way over to +2. We put x in the center, and at -9 we have an open circle, and at +2 we have a closed circle. Now let's look at the range. The range is from bottom to top. We start here at -6 and go all the way up to +3. And that's our y. At -6 we have a closed circle, and at +3 we have an open circle. Okay. On number 10, we cannot box it in because it has arrows going in both directions. So our domain, if I look at this, it's going to the right forever. It's just going up, and then it's also going to the left forever. So my domain is all real numbers. My range, looking at my y values, and it's going down forever. It's just going down and left. And it's also going up forever. It's just going up and right. And so my range is also all real numbers. Number 11. Let's talk about the domain here. We can't box this in because it also has arrows, and so even though this graph is going down versus the one number 10, which was a positive, this here, it's still going to the right forever and to the left forever, which makes our domain all real numbers. And then we talk about the range, and it is going down forever, and it's going up forever. So just like before, it's all real numbers. Number 12. So this graph, if we look at the domain, is going to the right. This is going up and right, so it's going to the right forever. And this is going up and left, so it's going to the left forever, which means, again, my domain is all real numbers. And my range is going up forever, but it does have a starting point. It starts down here at -2 and goes up forever. So my range is y is greater than or equal to -2. Okay, number 13. All right, so this is similar to the one we just did. We're going to look at the domain. And again, it's going up and right and up and left. And what we care about for a domain is it going to the right forever? And is it going to the left forever? Which it is, so my domain is all real numbers. And my range is going up forever. But it has a starting point. It starts down here, and we're just going to say it starts right here at -6. So that means my y values start at -6, and they're getting bigger than -6 or equal to -6. So y is greater than or equal to -6. Number 14 is just this flipped. So let's talk about the domain. This time it's going down and right, and down and left, which means it's going right forever and left forever. So the domain is all real numbers. And my range, it starts here at +1 and it's going down. So this time y is less than or equal to 1. It will never be bigger than 1. Number 15. Start again with the domain. It's going down and right, down and left. And so again, it's going left and right forever, which means my domain is all real numbers. But my range starts at -4 and is only getting smaller. Range is your y values. So smaller than, less than, or equal to -4. Okay. Number 16, domain. At this point, we should see that it's going left and right forever, so it's all real numbers. And my range starts up here at +6 and is going down forever. So y is less than or equal to 6. Okay. Number 17. If I look at my domain, domain is x. And so it looks like I start here at 0, and I'm getting bigger. But I am never going smaller than 0. So x is greater than 0. My y values, though, sit right there at 7. That's the y, and it doesn't go anywhere. So it's y equals 7. Okay. All right, this one, the domain, it's getting bigger. It starts here at 7, is getting bigger. So x is greater than 7. It's not equal to because there's an open circle. And my range is sitting right here at 3. So y equals 3. That's the only number that the range is going to be. Okay, at this point, I'm going to tell you to skip 19 and 20. And then if you want to go back through, I want to look at, let's go here to number 5. And I want to say that sometimes we need to write the domain and range in words. And so for number 5, the domain would say all real numbers less than or equal to 6, right? We're less than or equal to 6, and greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So you try writing out the range. And it would say all real numbers less than or equal to 12, and we're still greater or equal to 0. Okay, let's try it again with number 6. The domain would be all real numbers less than or equal to 10 and greater or equal to 0. The range this time would be all real numbers less than or equal to 250 and greater or equal to 193. All right, I want to look at page 3, and let's talk about not the domain, but the range. How would I write this range? Okay, all real numbers greater than or equal to -6, just like that. Okay. Alrighty, so make sure you have all this written down, put your name on your paper, and make sure it gets turned into the box.